Okay, guys. So last year when the area of Scaled Agile framework environment, we're working on Scrum Master roles, product owner roles, leading safe roles, and stuff like that. But we've actually gotten people reach out to us to extend our trainings to other areas of IT. So one of the areas we're extending to is the area of business analysis. Just a little bit of background. If you go to YouTube today and you go to search for business analysis training, it's going to be extremely long. And that's in itself it's discouraging, right? But if you also run into a problem while learning on those recorded videos, there's nobody to help you out. It's you're just going to be a little bit confused and looking for help and all of that. So that's why we thought it's going to be a good idea for somebody to hold your hands, walk you through the process, and it's going to be based on a project. Ultimately, after you're done with this training, we expect that you're going to be able to go ahead and apply for a job. That's the reason we're running this training. And all the support you need to be able to get a job, we're going to give to you. Okay? So those supports are here for you to be able to succeed in the market. Right now, I do have Sans. Sans is our consultant that's been hired. It took a while before we were able to settle for Sans because we saw a lot of people out there, but I think she's the most qualified to take on this course for us. Okay. So, Sans, do you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to walk us through what we should expect? And again, it's just going to be a demo, a quick walkthrough. The class itself will start, I think, by the 2nd of March. But today is just a time to ask questions and see how you can benefit from this course. Okay. Sans, please go ahead. We can hear you, Sans, I think. I think your voice is quite low. No, we cannot still hear you. I was hearing you before when you came on, but not anymore for some reason. No, we're not able to hear you.
Okay, am I audible
Yeah.
now?
Yes, you are audible right now. We can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, cool. So my name is Sanskriti, but everyone, you guys can call me Sans. Also, having said that, I am a business analyst professional having 3+ years of experience in this field. In this 3+ years of experience, I have worked in multiple projects of multiple domains, say, for example, edtech, hospitality, banking, finance. So, in that matter of fact, I have a lot of experience for you guys to bring on table, giving you hands of experience of how business analysis actually look like when you go to a corporate and you work there as a business analyst. Also, I have graduated myself doing computer science engineering here in India itself. And that's a pretty basic, brief introduction about me. So if you want, I can start with the webinar, Kenny.
Yes, please go ahead, and you can go ahead and share your screen. I think you have access to do that, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me know if my screen is visible.
it's coming up right now. Yes, we can see your screen right now.
Okay. Okay. So let's get started up. First, I just want every one of you to take a note of who I am, know me as a trainer, what I do, and how I can benefit you in this particular course. So, as said, I am Sanskriti, and I work in MNC, which is known as Zabia. Also, I am a SFPC certified business analyst, which is Scrum Foundational Professional Certificates. And this in this company, I have the Zabia, the company which is over mentioned here. Here I have around 1.5 years of experience. Previously, I have worked in a company which is named as Netlink. There I had approximately 2 years of experience. So let's move forward. Also, I would request everyone who is in the call to cut me off, pause me off for any queries, any doubts. I would be more than happy to clarify right here without you taking it home. Okay, so let's first understand what is business analysis and why business analysis is important, like starting from the start. So, what is business analysis? If I'm just explaining everything in layman terms. So business analysis is something if you are handling corporate clients and stakeholders and they come with a business, say for example, build me an application, build me a website, build me a portal. So you as a business analyst, you have to analyze the business, understand the requirement, understand the needs, understand the wants, differentiate the needs and the wants, and build them a system out of your analyzing skills. So business analysis, as the term only justify, is it is nothing but analyzing a business to its full potential so that it could be profitable, it could generate more profit, it could be a stakeholder's business, it could be a client business, or it could be any in-house project. So, say for example, if you after this course you join a company XYZ and you enroll there as a business analyst. It could be a service based company or a product based company. If it is a product based company, there would be chances that they have an in house application or in house product. You would be analyzing that product, making it profitable, growing its business by doing various means and tools by performing on various tools. So, business analysis is the set of tasks and techniques to understand the structure, policies, and operations of an organization. I said the organization would be both service based and product based. Now, let's talk about why business analysis is important, why we actually need a business analyst in organization or in the group of the team of developers, QAs, Scrum Masters. Why do we actually need a business analyst? So business analyst is needed for to identify and articulate the need of change, to facilitate the change, and to maximize the value delivered by an organization to its stakeholders or to its clients. So now look at an example. If a client comes to you and offers you a project or offers you its business that, say, for example, do this thing for me or do that thing for me. Business analysis is a person who understand the business, who look for the change, what needs to be done, what not to be done, who delivers maximum values and maximum profits to its stakeholders and to its organization. So a business analyst is someone who has 100% take on growing a organization business to 100% or 200%. So that is the very crucial reason why a business analyst is important in an organization. Moving forward, we have now understood what is business analysis and why it is important. Let us go through who is a business analyst. By taking this course, getting enrolled, you would be a business analyst by the end of this course. But it is very important for you to understand in the first place who is a business analyst actually. So a business analyst act as a communication between IT and the business stakeholder. Let me give you a very layman example. Say, for example, I am uh, someone who wants to build an application just like Facebook or Meta. I came to you, I said to you that please build me this application. This is how the UI should look like. This is how the backend should look like. This is how much I want to be profitable in a month. Say, for example, I want 1.7 billion customers to reach out to me daily. This is my business needs. Now, the application who is going to build would be developers who would actually code, would be data analysts who would actually search for the data to make it profitable and stuff. But who would the client or who would the stakeholders talk to? They can't go and talk to a developer, they can't go and talk to a data analyst or a test engineer or a product manager. They have to talk to someone who understands a business, who can analyze a business and depict the same requirements to the developers, to the product managers, to the scrum masters. The gap between a stakeholder and a development team, or as written an IT, is bridge between a business analyst. So that's why a business analyst is a stepping stone for any product or any service based project to be successful. So that is a business analyst. Now let's understand uh, why business analysis is for you. Now, everything is made for somebody and some things are not. So, why do you think business analysis is something which is what I can do, what I will love doing, why it is for me? So, business, if you are someone who is a problem solver, who loves to interact with clients, who love to interact with customers, who love to learn new things each day, who have the ability to think both logically, both creatively, and of course, with a business mind, that if I do this, I will catch more customers. If I do this, I can give more profit or give more value. If my UI of an application would look like this, more customers would be attracted to it. If you're someone who can think like it, who loves to think like it, who loves to deal with multiple various overseas clients and customers, stakeholders, some business analysis is a perfect fit for you. And so this is also the reason why I started as a business analyst. In the 3 years of a time, I have dealt with over 10 plus offshores clients and customers, which brings me a vast variety of knowledge and experience, which I would have never ever have been experienced if I wouldn't been a business analyst. So the bottom line is, if you are very creative in your head, if you can give good business solutions, then this is a perfect fit for you. Going further, I just want to understand if there is any query, or should I move forward?
Does anybody have any
Okay.
questions at all? No? Science, please, you can move forward, Science, please.
Okay. Now let's talk about the core business analysis, skills and function. It was just a rough idea. What is business analysis, why it is important, and who is business analyst? Now let's look back to the history of business analysis, how it actually began. When the IT industry started growing back in 90s, when it was all the boom, all the businesses, whether hospitality, health and care business, food and beverages business, airline business, everyone wanted a software for themselves. That was the time when IT industry started booming. When industry started booming, we noticed that customers wanted a user-friendly program, a graphical user interface, and a good amount of data storage. Now, developers are someone who would just code and give the application, but it is a business analyst who have to understand that my graphical user interface or the UI should be customer friendly. I have to interact with customers. Developers wouldn't think from a point of view of a customer, but a business analyst is someone who have to think from a point of view of the customer. When my customer log in into the application, it should be interactive enough that the customer comes back again and log in into the same application. If the customers have bought once from my website, they should come thrice to buy from the same website. Now, this can be solved by the mindset of a business analyst, and that's why business analysis was introduced. Business analyst jobs became boom in the IT industries by early 2000s. Next up is, why do we actually need a business analyst? Now, why is it so that IT organizations and IT companies need business analysts? What they actually do? The points would be they do the knowledge transfer to the developers. Having said that, which we already discussed, gaining information from the stakeholders and clients, documenting them and passing them to the developers and making them do the work. Second would be gap analysis. Sometimes, many a times, there are situations like a stakeholder or a client passes the knowledge or requirement to a business analyst, and business analysts find that this there is a gap in the requirement. The requirement is not 100% sufficient for the developers to start their work. This causes gap analysis, which would later impact the business. So it's the job of a business analysis uh, to understand the gap and to fulfill the gap. Third is requirement gathering. Requirement gathering from stakeholders, from clients, could be done in multiple ways, which would be shadowing and much more. And if we enroll in, if we start the classes, we would learn deep into requirement gathering, how to do a requirement gathering, from whom to do a requirement gathering. Fourth point would be multiple solution. Now it's the job of a business analyst to give multiple solution until and unless the stakeholder or a client is satisfied. Our main job is to satisfy the client because they are someone who is bringing business to us. Developers won't would be just building a website, coding and giving it to them, but giving them solution which will actually fit the model which they are asking for is the job of a business analyst. Next point would be defining the scope using optimal solutions. Now, if the solutions are defined, what is defining a scope? Defining a scope means dividing the work into multiple chunks and getting it done at the right time, which is already been discussed before the work is being started. So it is the job of a business analyst to look for the solution and define a scope for the solution. Once Next point is software documentation preparation. Once the requirement is gathered from the client and from the stakeholders and passed to the developers, it is a job of a business analyst to document the requirements so that they could be used for the future references. The last is test case preparation. What is a test case? So a case is something when application is developed by the developers, and before moving it to production environment, which is in the layman terms, before giving it to the client or the stakeholders, a business analyst have to do a full check of the application. Is it something which matches the requirement of the client? Is it something which we have already discussed while getting into the process? So that is the meaning of test case preparation, which all of these points would be taught in detail when we go to the classes. Next up, we have what are the skill set of a business analyst. And if you think something like this matches you, you are good to go. First would be communication. You have to be excellent in communication, communicating the needs and the requirements, and understanding the needs and the requirement would be the number one priority, because miscommunication can cost millions and billions of dollars for the business. Second is building business cases. Now, if you understand what is the business, you understand the requirements, it's your job to build a use case, multiple use case which could fit the business model. Third is interviewing. Sometimes when you have to gather a requirement, the gathering requirement can lead to various tasks, which one of them is interviewing the stakeholders and the clients. Next, the skill set of a business analyst would be conducting presentations. Now, what do I mean by conducting presentation is that after each requirement is done, after each task is completed, business analysts have to present it in front of the stakeholders that this is something I have done in this much of time period. Is it good to go? Should I move forward? Fifth would be active listening. I said that communication should be both way. Business analysts have to be a good listener as well as a good communicator. Next would be gaining consciousness. That would be having a reality check that this is what is it is being asked to, and this is what I am developing. Business analysts should always do the things which are being discussed with the clients and discussed with the stakeholders in the first place. Okay, moving forward, we have what are the responsibilities of a business analyst. So these are the five in brief responsibilities of a business analyst. The number one responsibility is defining the scope of the project, how much time the project would take, how much number of requirements and resources the project would take, how much the project would cost, is the scope of the project. Number two is gathering requirements for business units. For the project to kick off, a business analyst should have a initial requirement documentation with them to kickstart with the project. Step three is documenting business and technical requirements. Now, we do have a requirement with us, but it is the part of a job of a business analyst to document those requirements as set for the future references. Step four would be communicating requirements to stakeholders and project team members. So now if a requirement is being gathered and holded and documented, it's the role of a business analyst to communicate it properly to the developers who would build our application out of it, and to the stakeholders who would have an initial idea how would my application would look like. Step five would be verifying and testing the solution to validate project objectives. So when a solution is being made, the solution is being all completed by the developers, it's the job of the business analyst to verify and test it with the documentation which he have developed for the future reference, that this is what been documented and this is what been ready to deliver. Now we have to understand how does a business analyst think, because this is where a business analyst is differentiated as a good business analyst and a bad business analyst. So business analyst have is a person who should have strong logical and analytical skills with adequate technical skills, strong business acumen, problem solving skills, and interpersonal and negotiation skills as well. So the business analyst have to think in these many criterias. Number one could be what is being done. Is there any alternative I can give to the client? Can we consider this or not? Sometimes there are situations when client asks us to do something which is not in our bucket or which does not fit the budget the client is providing. So we have to think in that way also, that can we really consider this under the budget and under the timeline which we have already given. Should new rules be made? Are we being efficient enough? Sometimes business analysts have to keep a very tight check on the developers who are building the application, that are the developers efficient enough to build that feature, or do we need more experienced developers? So this is also a job of a business analyst to think in this way. Why this happen? If sometimes a feature is being made which is discarded by the client or discarded by the stakeholders, does not perform really well, business analyst is someone who have to do a retrospective. Business analyst do a meeting with their developers and clients to do a retrospective that why this problem have occurred. Are rules being followed? Are expectations being made? Is there any problem or opportunity? Is what is the cause or effect of a problem? So these are all the criteria in which a business analyst have to think. Now, when we go through the course, when we learn each day, there would be many use cases, many real-time problems in which we are tend to think like this. There would be an end number of problems in which we have to seek all the multiple scenarios so we can make a particular well-effective solution. Okay. Before moving forward quickly, if anyone have a doubt, I can pause and clarify it? If no,
Yeah.
I would move forward.
Let me just ask randomly here. Rabia, do you have any kind of questions, Rabia? Angel, can you hear us? Okay, Asu Nana raised the hand. Asu, please, do you wanna let's hear a question, please?
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, okay. Am I audible enough?
Yeah, we can hear you okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, please. My question is this: aside because this whole thing about business analysis and the role of the business analyst, it tends to focus more on IT related projects from what I'm kind of understanding. But
Mhm.
my question is this: aside from IT related projects, what can be the role of a business analyst in facilities projects? Let's assume an organization wants to expand, as in size of maybe building projects or some other projects that is not kind of IT related projects and organizations. So my question: what actually is the role of a business analyst in such projects?
Kenny, could you please cut short the question because
Yeah, so what he was asking is, business analysis is basically for folks who wants to develop a product. All right. So he's asking
yeah,
you that outside of building a solution, which is basically IT based, is it possible
correct.
to use business analysis in areas of development in terms of, let's say, building a home? All right. So maybe I'll first go in that to answer your question. Business analysis, to be honest with you, it is a kind of a, a role that bridges the gap between IT and business. So there needs to be a component of information technology that also needs to be a concept of the business coming together. So to
Okay.
build a solution, all right, um, from inception into what the customer will be able to use, that's where the business analyst comes in. So when it comes to building a house, if that was what you were asking, I am not sure if business analysis is relevant in that area. Okay. So they're only relevant in the area of building an application. For example, you probably have any bank application on your phone. Let's say your mobile application for Bank of America or let's say TD Bank. There's a software that they have. To build that software for you to be able to use that as a customer, they need the help of business analysts to understand the requirements. Do you want to be able to send money within a TD Bank or within Bank of America? Do you need to transfer funds from Bank of America to other banks? There's a lot of functionalities that go into that, right? So that's where business analysts will come in. Okay,
Okay.
Yes,
good. But anybody?
later tonight.
Okay, I'm gonna mute. Does
No,
anybody have any other question? Anyone? Any clarification before we go ahead? All right, please go ahead, Sams.
Okay, am I audible
Yeah, we can
properly?
hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. So the next would be steps to perform a business analysis. This is just a brief for letting you know how, if you enroll as a business analyst in some organization, what is the brief roles and responsibilities you have to perform. So you have to get started with getting oriented, which means having knowledge of who is my client, who is my stakeholders, who I would actually be working with. Second would be discover business objectives, which would be knowing what the business is about, what they are asking me to do, how can I benefit them with my skill set and my knowledge. Third would be defining the scope. Again, we have discussed what is a scope, how to define it, why it is important. Next is formulate a BA plan. you have to understand and make a BA plan that this is the project which is given to me. This is the time which the project should be completed in, say, for example, 3 months, 6 months, a year, or there are some projects who have a bond with the organization for 10 years or 15 years. And how much is the budget? How many resources would work on that project? Say, for example, 5 developers, 2 test engineers, 1 scrum master, 1 project managers, and 2 business analysts. Next would be define detailed requirements. You have to fetch the requirements, you have to gather the requirements, and you have to document them. Next would be support technical implementation. What do I mean by technical implementation? There is nothing that business analysts have to be technical, have to learn languages, should know how to code. This is not what I mean. What I mean by support technical implementation is setting up the environment for the client to work on, say, for example, production environment, environment, supporting the developers team to get the resources in their place. Next is help the business implement the solution. Now, the business analyst should help their internal team, which is developers, testers working together, also the stakeholders and clients team, and bridge the gap between them to build a efficient and excellent solution. The last would be access the value created by our project. Now, once a project is being created, business analysis should process should have the check on how much the value it is delivering to the stakeholders or to the clients. Now, next up, we have top industries where BA can work. The number one industry is information technologies, which is 27%. Next is banking, finance, insurance, which is 25%. And next is healthcare, which is 7%, government industries, which is also 7%, and others could be counted as 7% too. The top paying industries where BA works is first is manufacturing, which is $87,000. Second is government industries, which is $84,000. Third is consulting, and fourth is healthcare, and the next is transportations and logistics. And the pay is accordingly, which is being provided in the slide. Yeah. Now, this was all about who is a business analyst, why it is important, why IT industries need a business analyst. Other than IT industries, business analysts can also work in healthcare domains, in government projects. This just understand business analysis is something I am getting a business. I have to make solutions for the business so that the person who is running that business could get profitable in terms of money. So, in this way, business analysis is someone who is supporting a person with a business or have to be business to grow their business and to make their business profitable. This is what we have covered in the webinar so far. What would be the job of a business analyst, how the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst in day-to-day life would look like. Now, coming to the end of the slide or come to the presentation I have for you, here are few 13 to 12 topics which I would cover in my course of 12 classes. The number one would be introduction to business analysis, which is the in-depth detail of business analysis, understanding and capturing business needs, how to understand the needs and how to capture it. There are multiple methods and multiple tools and multiple strategies to do so, and I would teach them all. Third is requirement analysis process. Now, when a requirement is captured, the third thing which you have to do is do a analysis on the requirement. What do I mean by doing an analysis on the requirement is if the requirement is good enough to be developed, or if I need more information to for the requirement to be good enough for it to be developed, or should I discard the requirement? Is the requirement not good enough for the developers to take it? So you have to do a complete analysis on the requirement. Fourth is creating requirement gathering strategies. Now, to gather the requirements, there are multiple strategies, and we in the business analysis process in today's IT industry, we use agile methodology, which I will teach in my course. What is agile? What is waterfall? Having said that, what I mean to convey to you is that it is not that once all the requirements are gathered from the client and then the development would start. Chunks of requirement will gather, chunks of work would be done, and the process would go on and on. So there would be a strategy to do the requirement gathering process. Fifth is modeling data and processes. How should we look into the data and how should we process the data? Now, why data is important? Why should we look into the data? The question to this answer would be, say, for example, I am a client and I am asking you to build me a solution which will grow my profits from 10% to 100% in just 2 months. So, what would you do as a business analyst? You would also look into my data that, okay, these are the number of people who purchased item A from me in this date. So, you would look into that data. You would tell me that these are the person who purchase more items from you frequently. So, you can give discounts to these humans. You can give free item to this human. So, that is why you should also look into the data of the business. Sixth is UML methodologies. What is UML? UML is basically creating use cases. What is a use case? Use case is something which we define for a business to run. Say, for example, I am coming to you and asking you to build me Facebook app, some application which is like Facebook. So, what a use case would look like that as a user, I would enter into the application, I will log in into the application, I will enter the password, enter the email, do two-factor authentication, set up my profile. So this is how a use case of an application would look like. So as a business analyst, you have to build a use case. Creating effective use case, how to create effective use case which benefits your stakeholders, your clients, and give a leverage in your career growth as well, would also be taught in my course. Next is business analysis tool. There are multiple tools for a business analysis to work on, for creating use cases, for creating rough application designs, which I will teach. Ninth is requirement gathering, business modeling, and analysis tool. How to gather a requirement, how to model a business, what are the analysis tool, how to work on them is also we will learn. Project documentation and management. What are the documentation which are required in a project, how to write those documentation and how to manage those documentation. Next is software testing. What is testing? We have already discussed validating the features which are being completed with the requirements which are being given by the client is testing the application. How to test the application? What are the criteria? Would be would also be taught in my chapters. Next is overview of IIBA, BABOK, and SEBAP. So what is IIBA? IIBA is International Institute of Business Analysis. BABOK is Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, and CBAP is Certified Business Analysis Professional. These three things are the global benchmark for a business analyst. We will look not in detail because this is very lengthy, very unnecessary details are also present in them, but we will have a very brief look of how these things are, how they work, how can we benefit from all of them. Last but not the least, we have requirement gathering, analysis, and BRD creation in real world domain. So what is BRD creations? BRD is business requirement document. When you, as a business analyst, when you gather the requirements from the client, you have to write those requirements. The document which we create while documenting the requirement is known as business requirement documentation. How to write that documentation, what should be the content of the documentation would be learned in the course. And we will also look upon the real world domains, real world project. The project which I have worked on, I will share with you guys, so we understand more on how, if you go as a business analyst into an industry, you would, what problems you would face, how would you achieve that problems, what would the real time solution would look like. So yeah, this was all about the webinar. Any questions for me?
Good. I think this is a great presentation. Let me just ask, Rabia, are you back with us? Angel, are you with us? Rashid, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I actually have a question, so I wouldn't know if I ask now.
Absolutely, please go ahead.
Yeah, regarding the certification for which you have listed,
Yes.
yeah, I actually want to know the relevance for a business analyst of getting certified, so the opportunities that can be available in terms of getting a job in BA field. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So if I may just chime in here on that one. So the CBOP certification or the IIBA or even the BABA, they are great certifications to have. All right. But I'll tell you that that's not a requirement for you to get a job. Okay? That's not a requirement to get a job. The requirement that you need to get a job basically is, first of all, to build that experience. Nobody would say they're not going to hire you because you don't have the certification. As a matter of fact, people get the certifications after they've gotten a job. Okay, so that's why I'd say, yeah, it's good to have it, but it's not a showstopper for you to get a job if you do not have it. What's more important for you is to be able to speak to a project, which I think we're working towards here. I expect that at the end of this course, you'll be able to speak concerning a project that you're able to work on this training. That will be what you have on your resume, and that's what we're going to prep you on to talk about during your interview. Did that answer your question, Rashid?
Yes, thank you.
Good, good. Let's see here. Does anybody have any other question? Nana, you got any other question, Nana? I can't hear you now. Did you say yes or no?
Yeah, I said I'm fine. It's okay.
You're fine. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Angel, are you able to hear us? Do you have any question? Angel, you got any other question? Rabia, as well, you have any other question? And Rashid? Okay, if there are no questions, this class will start on the 2nd. All right, it's going to be on the 2nd of March, and it's going to go through for 6 weeks. It's going to be on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to go for 6 weeks, and you would have, I think it's going to be from 10 a.m. Eastern to 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, it's going to be 3 hours each, and it's going to go for Saturday, Sunday, over the weekend for 6
Hi,
weeks.
what is the fee for this?
Yeah, it is going to be $4.99. All right, it's going to be $4.99. But if you have some people who want to do a payment plan with us, that's also fine. We can also do that. Just you can just reach out to me and we can arrange that for you for sure. Then I am going to, once I post that on the website, I'm going to also add the syllabus for this session on it. So you can download that syllabus and be able to view the content of the class. Okay. Um, any questions about that?
Yeah, my question is, how can we be able to reach out in terms of uh, getting okay, I think we'll reach out through the WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, reach out to me on the WhatsApp group, okay?
Okay.
If you want, you can also drop Rabia, I thought you're part of the group, right? And also Rashid too, right? Rashid, you're part of the group. Both of you are part of it. Okay, great. Nana, are you part of the group too?
Yes, yes.
Okay. What about Angel? Are you part of it? Yeah, if you guys are part of it, that's fine. So from there you can speak to me personally. I can drop my cell again for you guys here. Let's see. Let me go into the chat and drop my cell for you. My number is 3168887. Okay. That's my cell. You can reach out to me via text or call anytime. Like I said, you have 2 weeks between now and next 2 weeks to think about it. If you want to be a part of the class, that's fine. And again, when it comes to support, we're going to support you throughout the interview. We're going to prep you for the interview. That's nothing to worry about. We're going to give you references. When employers make references, we're going to get that out for you, and make sure that you guys are happy to take on this career. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Sans, for this time. I appreciate it. This is what we have going on today, and I wish us a very great Sunday, and we'll catch up later, okay? Thank you so much, everybody. Sans, I will call you back. I will call you, okay? All right. Thank you so much, guys, and have a very good one. Bye now.